Welcome to Beverly Unitarian Church Online Worship. My name is Julia Jones. I'm the ministerial intern here at Beverly, and I am so glad to welcome you to worship today. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation of children, youth, and adults of many races, religions, identities, genders, educations, life experiences, and traditions. Here, we celebrate a diversity of beliefs, striving always to make space for more. All of you are sacred. You are welcome here. Whatever your past or present is like, we invite you to walk into the future with us. Like other Unitarian Universalist congregations, we affirm 7 principles, which aren't doctrine or dogma, but rather shared values, a moral guide. To learn more about these principles, please feel free to visit the website of our denomination, www.uua.org. Our minister here at Beverly is the Reverend David Schwartz. We especially welcome visitors and hope you'll stay for the virtual coffee hour after the service on Zoom. We look forward to the day when we'll be able to meet you in person.
Our words for the chalice lighting are by David Wagner. His poem called Lost. Stand still. The trees ahead and the bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here. And you must treat here as a powerful stranger. Must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers, I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No 2 trees are the same to raven. No 2 branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you.
You are where you should be. Here, be still.
It is a cold, wet, rainy day in Chicago. It's the day before Thanksgiving today, and it is really gross out. This is exactly par for the course for the end of November in this city. But it's also beautiful in a certain way. The fog on the buildings and the bare branches of the trees. I'm headed right now over to the point. And what we're gonna do is take a look and see if we can't find some wonderful and amazing things. Those moments of awe and wonder, they come as a gift, something that we discover. It feels as if we're finding something that's out there in the world. But even though they come as a gift, there are still things we can do to get ready for that gift, to find it, to put ourselves in a position of being able to find it. I love the line from the scientist Louis Pasteur, the guy who invented pasteurization. He says, "Sure, science depends a great deal on chance, but chance favors the prepared mind." You gotta put yourself in situations where chance can come along and happen. And that's equally true of grace, which I mean, maybe not in traditional theological terms, but in the very simple sense of unearned goodness, of beauty and wonder and awe that comes into our life as if it's a gift from somewhere else. And for those experiences, though they come by chance, nonetheless, chance favors the prepared heart and spirit and mind and body. Today I'm going to offer you 3 practices that you can use to rediscover that wonder. 3 practices that can help prepare yourself for chance or grace, however you understand it. And the first thing is to look close. Look close. Look close. Through so much of the day, our minds are just going and going and going, chatting to ourselves and planning and running through the to-do list or inventorying our hurts and our hopes. Part of the work of being prepared for awe or for wonder is slowing down our minds enough. Just slowing down until there's space enough to see it.
I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to
Friends, will you join me in the words of our covenant? Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. So on a much nicer and sunnier day, I came out for a walk with Pilot. Yeah, you. Hey, buddy. What do you see and smell and hear? If you've ever thought that when you go out into the world, you look really closely and you see everything that there is to see, take a walk with a dog, even if you're not a dog person, because what he sees and experiences and perceives as we're out here is so radically different from what I do. So Pilot's nose is binocular. Show everybody your nose. Just like our hearing is binocular, you can hear is something louder on one side than the other. He can follow smells the same way that we can follow sounds. So this guy can also tell time by scent. So say a hot dog drops on the ground, and then somebody picks up the hot dog. He can tell how long it's been since the hot dog was there. So he smells the hot dog smell, the little traces that have been left on the ground, and he can tell by what that smell is and how much of it there is, how long it's been since that thing was there. So as he moves through the world, he's not just seeing the things that are right in front of him with his eyes. He's seeing the traces left behind of things that may have happened days ago. So when he comes to smell a lamp post, a favorite activity, don't worry, I'm only going to show you the sniffing part, he's smelling not just who's been by like this afternoon, but who's been at this thing for the last few days. These guys were bred originally as mountain rescue dogs in the Alps in Switzerland. And 150 years ago, 200 years ago, the dogs that used to be this breed would find people who'd been trapped in the snow, and some of them would come snuggle close to warm them up, which is why he thinks he's a lap dog, and some of them would go back and warn the others. So he was bred to have that scent and hearing, and to a lesser degree sight, to find people and to use those senses, which see so much more of the world than we do, as a tool to help people in need. What do you smell? What do you smell? I'm gonna smell it. It smells like grass, and maybe a little bit of dirt, and a little bit of dried leaves. But I strongly suspect that is not the only thing that he's smelling. Maybe he's smelling if someone was sitting here earlier today. Maybe he's smelling if someone walked across with shoes that had dirt on them from somewhere else. Maybe he's smelling if another dog came through, or when the last time a squirrel sat right here. Are you going to be a pointy-eared dog? I don't think so. But there's a lot of ear in there. And he can hear not just the sounds that we can hear, but sounds at a higher pitch, a higher frequency than we're even able to. So when he's sitting here next to me, he's not just hearing the birds chirping and the sound of the wind blowing in my voice. He is potentially also hearing the hum of an electric generator in a basement of one of these buildings. He is in a soundscape, just like the smellscape, that is different from the one that I inhabit, that we inhabit. One of the things that this guy reminds me always is that there is so much more to the world. There is so much more going on all around us all the time than the things that I can see or hear or smell. This world is an incredibly big place. Yeah.
We'll
Friends, I invite you now into a time for prayer and for meditation, a time to recenter and to reground yourself. Will you take a breath with me? And another. Be still. Be here now. Our words for meditation are by my colleague, the Reverend Kendall Gibbons. Sure, in the beginning. In the beginning, silence. In the beginning, wonder. In the beginning, beauty. In the beginning, death. Kingdom of marvels, terror and splendor, province of dust and breath, spirit of wonder. Dew on the lily, gem in the lotus, star in the summer sky, thundering mountain, altar of fire, tear in the loving eye. Holy the mystery, holy the journey, holy the hour of prayer. Blessed and merciful, blessed and generous, sacred as simple air. Source of all, again renew life more abundant, life more true. Summon these moments, sudden and few, joyful and tender. Spirit of wonder. On the horizon, justice. On the horizon, kinship. On the horizon, wisdom, woven in time of promise and hunger, heaven on holy earth. Curious creature, knowing and choosing, risen of mortal clay, heartbroken pilgrim. We're finding and losing the light of the common day. Source of all. Again, renew life more abundant, life more true, and summon these moments, sudden and few, joyful and tender. On the horizon, peace, summoning duty, touch of compassion, keeper of song and flame, struggle and silence, praise and thanksgiving, truth beyond every name, source of all. Again, renew life more abundant, life more true. Summon these moments, sudden and few, joyful and tender, spirit of wonder in the beginning, on the horizon, life. We come into this moment, into this presence of something greater than each of us, and we know it in so many different ways. We call this by different names. We reach out in our experience. We open this invisible door inside ourselves to the presence of something that's beyond us, that some of us call God and some of us call life itself, that some of us leave beyond all names as something unknown and wondrous, something to be experienced. At this moment in the service, that's what we direct our hearts and our hopes and our attention to. Something beyond us in which we move and live. Friends, each week we light candles in the service together. Candles of hope and of joy, candles of sorrow, candles that bear witness to suffering and wonder and the complicated realities of our lives. Instead of trying to go through this life alone, we reach out to each other. We trust our own lives into each other's hands. And so as the music begins, I invite you in the chat to share a joy or a sorrow, a hope or a wonder, remembering that the chat is public. Our second practice, making space for wonder, is the work of slowing down. And in that spirit, our first text is this video piece from Christian Muehlhauser, a Swiss artist. This called The Peak, about the Matterhorn, his beloved mountain in Switzerland.
It had been well understood by the scientists and philosophers of classical antiquity that the earth was a mere point in a vast, encompassing cosmos. but no one had ever seen it as such. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam.
There's the joke where the old fish is swimming along next to the young fish and turns to this one and says, "Oh, the water is really nice today, isn't it?" And the young fish, who's just been minding their business, turns back and says, "What the heck is water? What are you even talking about?" What's happening for Sagan when he looks at that picture of the pale blue dot is that the familiar becomes new again. And the waters that we swim in and have forgotten that we're even swimming in, they become visible. I've been walking along the edge of the lake here. And on the one hand, all it is just wind and water and stones. And it's easy to move past it and through it. There comes some more water. But in that simple combination of wind and water and stones, when you slow down, when you look closer, it becomes something else. The physicist Richard Feynman talks about how we understand very, very well in a very simple system how things work. When you've got two atoms bouncing off each other, you understand and you can predict really simply. But he says the astonishing thing is when you put that together over and over and over again, it becomes unpredictably complex. All this is wind and water and stone, but they engage with each other, they interact with each other, which isn't just a math problem to be solved, but is something wondrous in itself. The writer Jorge Luis Borges says that certain places, certain states of twilight, certain moods in between are as if they're trying to tell us something. They're hinting at a revelation that hasn't quite occurred. A revelation to be experienced, not understood. The essence of wonder isn't a thought so much as a feeling. And we can think our way into it, contemplating the pale blue dot, looking closely at the way that wind and water and stone talk to each other over time. We can think on it, but it's a feeling that's evoked. It's a sense and sensation. So the practice that I want to share with you is very simple, walking meditation. Because that sense of finding and experiencing wonder isn't just about being in our heads, it's about being in our bodies too. Walking meditation is a very, very simple practice that turns out to be incredibly difficult and complex, of bringing attention and unity to mind and breath and body. Lift one foot. Move it forward. Set it down. Let your weight shift. Lift the other foot. Move it forward. Set it down. Let your weight shift. It's deceptively simple. Lift, shift, place, shift, lift, shift, place, shift. But as you bring your attention and your awareness to it, it gets more and more complicated. And it ends up taking all of the focus that you possibly have just to walk yourself forward a step. There's no room in your brain for anything else except just that focus. And that's the practice. Anytime it starts to seem easy, slow yourself down a little bit more and it gets harder. Slow, lift, shift, step, shift, lift, shift, step. While you can do this walking meditation practice while you're out and about in the world, you notice that it's really slow because the whole point is to bring your focus back into yourself and how you're moving and how your breath and your body and your focus, your mind all go together. So when monks do this is a practice of Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk, and many, many others. They wouldn't do it while they're going out for a walk like around the neighborhood. They do it in this very sort of circumscribed area, walking back and forth, 20 feet. And slowly moving back and forth. So it's actually a great moving meditation practice for cold and gray and wintry months. So the steps are small because the idea is not to cover ground, but just to bring awareness and intention into what you're doing. You let your body straighten as if there is a string tied to the roof of your mouth, sort of pulling you upwards as your shoulders stack above your hips. In your 4 steps, lift and shift and place and shift and lift and shift and place and shift and lift and shift and place and shift. Walking meditation is an invitation into a sort of a stillness in motion, an inner stillness, a centering, in the same way that when you look at a tall tree, there's the sense that it's rooted, that it's really stable, that it's motionless. But in fact, if you look up the trunk at the top of this thing, tall trees are in constant motion, tracing these ellipses against the sky. It's the same with your mind and your body, that you're moving, but you're still, both at the same time as you're walking. And it's a way, ultimately, of finding your way back to now. whether in the Alps or from a photo beyond Pluto, whether at the lake or anywhere in the labyrinth of this life, the chance of encountering awe, the possibility of finding wonder, favors the prepared mind and heart and spirit. Look close. Move slow. Be in your body. Our worship ends, and our work is just beginning. Go in peace, and amen.